The 1983p United States Washington quarter is an interesting and somewhat overlooked coin in modern American numismatics, especially in uncirculated, untitled as you likely meant untitled uncirculated, condition. This coin was struck in 1983 at the United States Mint facility in Philadelphia, indicated by the small p mint mark on the obverse, front, of the coin. Unlike earlier decades when Philadelphia coins did not carry a mint mark, beginning in 1980 the p mint mark appeared on quarters produced there. The 1983p quarter continues the long-running Washington quarter design that was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing portrait of Washington, originally designed by sculptor John Flanagan. Above Washington's head appears the word Liberty, to the left the motto "In God We Trust," and below the bust is the date 1983. The mint mark P appears just to the right of Washington's ponytail. On the reverse, back, of the 1983 quarter is an eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows, with olive branches beneath, symbolizing military readiness and peace. Above the eagle reads United States of America, below it quarter dollar, and between them the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, emphasizing the unity of the states. The 1983p quarter is composed of a copper-nickel clad construction, which had been standard for circulating quarters since 1965 when silver was removed from regular coinage. The outer layers are 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and features a reeded edge. Its mintage was about 673,535,000 pieces, which might suggest it is extremely common. However, what makes the 1983p quarter notable is that the United States Mint did not sell official uncirculated mint sets in 1982 and 1983 due to budget constraints and low demand. As a result, collectors who wanted uncirculated examples had to obtain them directly from circulation. Because fewer pristine examples were saved at the time, high-grade uncirculated 1983p quarters are scarcer today than mintage numbers alone would indicate. In circulated condition, a 1983p quarter is worth only its face value of 25 cents. However, in uncirculated condition, meaning the coin shows nowhere from circulation and retains its original mint luster, it can command a premium among collectors. Coins graded MS60 to MS63, mint state, may sell for a few dollars, while higher-grade examples such as MS65 or above can be worth significantly more, sometimes tens of dollars depending on appeal and market demand. Exceptionally high-grade coins certified by professional grading services can bring even higher prices. The value depends on strike quality, luster, surface preservation, and the absence of contact marks. Many 1983p quarters were weakly struck, particularly in the hair details of Washington and the eagle's feathers, so sharply struck examples are more desirable. There are also known varieties and errors among 1983p quarters. Off-center strikes, double strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks can add collectible interest and value. While there are no major widely recognized double die varieties as dramatic as some other years, minor die varieties and repunched mint marks may exist and can attract specialized collectors. As with all collectible coins, authentication and grading by reputable third-party services can increase buyer confidence and market value. The design itself remained largely unchanged from 1932 until 1998, making the 1983p part of the pre-50 state quarters era. Beginning in 1999, the reverse design changed annually for the United States Mint's 50 state quarters program, but the 1983 issue represents the classic eagle reverse type that many collectors appreciate for its traditional symbolism. The inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and E pluribus unum reflect enduring national ideals, freedom, faith, and unity, that have appeared on American coinage for generations. For collectors assembling a date and mint set of Washington quarters, the 1983p is often considered a semi-key coin in high mint state grades due to the relative scarcity of well-preserved examples. It is not rare in absolute numbers, but finding one with strong luster, minimal marks, and a full strike can be challenging. Because mint sets were not issued, fewer were stored away carefully at the time of release. Many collectors today search through original bank-wrapped rolls from the early 1980s hoping to find gem-quality examples. In summary, the 1983 P. Washington quarter dollar is a modern clad coin struck in Philadelphia, featuring the portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the heraldic eagle on the reverse, along with the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum. While next top, the 1984 D United States Washington quarter dollar is part of the long-running Washington quarter series that began in 1932 and continued with the classic eagle reverse design until 1998. This particular coin was struck in 1984 at the United States Mint facility in Denver, as indicated by the small D mint mark located on the obverse, front, of the coin to the right of George Washington's ponytail. The Washington quarter was originally introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth and replaced the earlier standing Liberty quarter. The portrait of Washington on the obverse was designed by American sculptor John Flanagan, whose left-facing bust of the first president became one of the most enduring designs in U.S. coinage history. On the obverse of the 1984 D quarter, the word Liberty appears above Washington's head. The national motto In God We Trust is placed to the left of the portrait, and the date 1984 appears below. The mint mark D confirms it was produced in Denver, one of the primary circulating coin production facilities of the United States Mint system. The reverse, back, of the 1984 D quarter features the traditional heraldic eagle design used on Washington quarters from 1932 through 1998. The eagle is shown with wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows symbolizing strength and preparedness, with olive branches beneath representing peace. Above the eagle is the inscription United States of America, while the denomination quarter dollar appears below. Centered above the eagle's head and below the country name is the Latin motto E Pluribus Unum, meaning out of many, one, reflecting the unity of the states forming the nation. This classic reverse design remained unchanged for decades until the introduction of the 50-state quarters program in 1999, also issued by the United States Mint. The 1984 D quarter is composed of a copper-nickel clad construction, standard for quarters minted after 1965 when the United States removed silver from circulating dimes and quarters due to rising silver prices. The coin consists of outer layers made of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a core of pure copper. It weighs approximately 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a thickness of about 1.75 millimeters, and features a reeded edge with 119 reeds. These physical specifications are consistent across modern clad Washington quarters. In terms of mintage, the Denver Mint produced approximately 546,483,064 quarters in 1984. This high production number means the coin is very common in circulated condition, and examples found in everyday pocket change are typically worth only their face value of 25 cents. However, in uncirculated condition, meaning the coin has never entered circulation and shows no signs of wear, the 1984 D quarter can hold greater value to collectors. Uncirculated coins are graded on the mint state, MS, scale, which ranges from MS-60, nowhere but possibly many contact marks, up to MS-70, perfect condition with no visible flaws under magnification. Lower mint state examples such as MS-60 to MS-63 may sell for a few dollars, while higher grade coins such as MS-65 or MS-66 can command stronger premiums depending on luster, strike quality, and surface preservation. Gem quality examples certified by major third-party grading services may bring even higher prices, particularly if they exhibit exceptional eye appeal. The strike quality of 1984 D quarters can vary. Some coins show weaker details in Washington's hair or in the eagle's breast feathers and wings on the reverse. Collectors often seek sharply struck specimens with strong luster and minimal bag marks, as coins produced in large quantities are often transported in bulk bags, resulting in contact marks. Brilliant, well-preserved examples with minimal abrasions are more desirable. Because official mint sets were produced in 1984, unlike 1982 and 1983, uncirculated examples are more readily available than the earlier 2 years, but truly high-grade pieces are still sought after by collectors assembling complete Washington quarter date and mint sets. There are also collectible mint errors and minor varieties associated with 1984 D quarters. These can include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, strike-through errors, and occasionally doubled dies, although no major dramatic doubled die variety is widely recognized for this year from the Denver Mint. Error coins can significantly increase in value depending on the type and severity of the error. Collectors interested in such varieties often consult specialized numismatic references and seek professional authentication. Historically, the 1984 D quarter reflects the era of high-volume modern coinage production during the 1980s, a period when the United States economy was stabilizing after inflationary pressures of the late 1970s and early 1980s. The quarter remained one of the most heavily used coins in commerce. Next top. The 1986 D Washington quarter is part of the long-running Washington quarter series, one of the most widely collected coins in United States history. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the design was created by sculptor John Flanagan and remained largely unchanged until the start of the 50 state quarters program in 1999. The 1986 issue belongs to the modern clad era of U.S. coinage, meaning it is composed of a copper core bonded between layers of cupronickel, 75% copper and 25% nickel, rather than containing any silver. The D mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary production facilities of the United States Mint. In 1986, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters for circulation, making the coin common in worn condition but significantly more desirable in pristine uncirculated, untitled or correctly, uncirculated, condition. On the obverse, front, of the coin, the left-facing portrait of George Washington dominates the design. Above his head appears the word Liberty, a traditional inscription symbolizing freedom and a core value of the nation. To the left of Washington's profile is the motto "In God We Trust," which has appeared on U.S. coins since the Civil War era and became the official national motto in 1956. The mint mark D appears to the right of the portrait near the ponytail ribbon. At the bottom of the obverse is the date 1986. The reverse, back, of the coin features a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and readiness to defend peace. Beneath the eagle are two olive branches, representing peace. Above the eagle is the inscription United States of America, and below it is the denomination quarter dollar. The Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, appears above the eagle's head, reflecting the union of the states into one nation. In terms of mintage, the 1986 D quarter had a production figure exceeding 500 million coins, commonly reported around 504 million, which makes it readily available in circulated grades. Because of the large mintage, most examples found in pocket change today show wear on Washington's hair and cheek, as well as flattening on the eagle's breast feathers. However, uncirculated specimens, those that were never used in commerce, retain their original mint luster, sharp strike details, and lack of wear on high points. These coins are typically graded on the Sheldon scale from MS-60, mint state 60, to MS-70, perfect condition. Coins graded MS-63 to MS-65 are common among saved rolls, while MS-66 and higher grades are scarcer and more desirable among collectors seeking high-quality registry sets. An uncirculated 1986 D Washington quarter is usually worth only a modest premium above face value unless it is an exceptionally high grade. In MS-63 condition, it may sell for a few dollars. In MS-65, perhaps $5 to $15 depending on appeal, and in MS-67 or better, it can command significantly higher prices, potentially $100 or more if certified by a major grading service such as PCGS or NGC. Coins with exceptional strike quality, strong luster, and minimal contact marks are most valued. No major design varieties or widely recognized mint errors are commonly associated with the 1986 D quarter, although collectors sometimes search for off-center strikes, double dies, or other minting anomalies that can increase value. Because the 1986 D quarter is a clad coin with no silver content, its intrinsic metal value is minimal and tied primarily to copper and nickel market prices, not precious metals. Therefore, collector interest is based almost entirely on condition and grading rather than bullion value. Many collectors obtain uncirculated examples from original mint rolls or annual mint sets issued by the United States Mint. Proper storage, such as in coin holders, flips, or certified slabs, is important to preserve the coin's original surfaces and prevent toning or contact damage. Historically, the 1986 D quarter represents a period in U.S. coinage before the dramatic design changes of the late 1990s and early 2000s. It retains the classic Washington Eagle design that had been familiar to Americans for over half a century. For collectors building a complete date and mintmark set of Washington quarters from 1965 through 1998, the clad era, the 1986 D is an essential but generally affordable addition. While it is not rare, high-grade uncirculated specimens with superb eye appeal can still be prized within competitive collecting communities. In summary, the 1986 D Washington quarter is a modern, copper-nickel-clad 25-cent coin struck at the Denver Mint, bearing the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum, and valued primarily according to its mint state condition rather than rarity or precious metal content. Next top. The 1988 D United States quarter dollar is part of the long-running Washington quarter series, one of the most collected and recognized coins in American history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington, and its enduring design was created by sculptor John Flanagan. By 1988, the coin had already been in circulation for more than 5 decades in essentially the same classic format. The D mint mark on the 1988 quarter indicates that it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the major production branches of the United States Mint. The Denver facility has long been responsible for producing large quantities of circulating coinage for the western United States, and in 1988 it struck hundreds of millions of quarters to meet commercial demand. The mintage for the 1988 D quarter exceeded 596 million pieces, making it a very common coin in circulated condition but more collectible in high uncirculated grades. The obverse, front, of the 1988 D quarter features a left-facing portrait of George Washington. Above his head is the word Liberty, symbolizing the nation's foundational value of freedom. To the left of Washington's portrait appears the motto In God We Trust, which has appeared on most U.S. coins since the 19th century and became the official national motto in 1956. To the right of the ribbon that ties Washington's hair is the small D mint mark. The date 1988 is positioned at the bottom of the obverse. The portrait designed by John Flanagan is based loosely on a bust of Washington by French sculptor Jean-Antoine Houdon, though adapted for coinage use. Over the decades, small modifications were made to the master hub, but the overall appearance in 1988 remained consistent with the traditional Washington profile familiar to generations of Americans. The reverse, back, of the 1988 D quarter displays a heraldic eagle with wings spread wide, perched atop a bundle of arrows that represent military strength and national defense. Beneath the arrows are 2 olive branches, symbolizing peace. The inscription United States of America curves along the top rim, while quarter dollar is inscribed at the bottom. Above the eagle's head appears the Latin motto E Pluribus Unum, meaning out of many, one, reflecting the unity of the states forming a single nation. This reverse design remained standard for circulation quarters from 1932 until it was replaced in 1999 by the 50-state quarters program. Compositionally, the 1988 D quarter is part of the modern clad era of U.S. coinage, which began in 1965 after rising silver prices made it impractical to continue producing circulating coins with precious metal content. The coin consists of a pure copper core bonded between outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, with a reeded edge designed to prevent counterfeiting and metal shaving. Because it contains no silver, its intrinsic metal value is very small and tied only to base metal prices. Consequently, its collector value depends almost entirely on condition, eye appeal, and grade rather than bullion content. In circulated grades, the 1988 D quarter is generally worth face value, 25 cents. Most coins found in everyday change show moderate to heavy wear, particularly on Washington's hair above the ear, the cheek area, and the eagle's breast feathers. However, uncirculated examples, often referred to as mint state coins, retain their original luster, sharp details, and no signs of wear. These coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from MS-60 to MS-70. Common uncirculated pieces in MS-63 to MS-65 condition are widely available from coin dealers or from original bank rolls and mint sets, often selling for a few dollars. Higher-grade examples such as MS-66 or MS-67 can command stronger premiums, especially if certified by respected third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC. In top condition, MS-67 or better, auction prices may reach $75 to over $150 depending on market demand and appeal. The 1988 D quarter does not have major widely recognized varieties, but collectors do search for double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or other mint errors. While such errors are not common, they can significantly increase the value if authenticated. Another area of interest is coins with exceptional luster or attractive natural toning, which sometimes develop when stored in original mint packaging. Rainbow toning or strong cartwheel luster can enhance desirability among advanced collectors. Historically, the 1988 D quarter represents the late period of the traditional Washington Eagle design before the major changes introduced in 1999. It belongs to the set of clad Washington quarters minted from 1965 through 1998, which many collectors assemble as a complete date and mint mark series. Although it is not rare due to its high mintage, high-grade examples remain important.